Hey everyone, welcome to Entertainment and Star Wars. My name is Rob. I'm here and you're there. Good to see everyone today. This is like a really awesome live stream because to me it's very special. I have my two best friends and my brother with me today. If there's anybody who I trust my life with, it's these three guys. They have been through everything with me, from good to bad to ugly. They've done it all. And one of them, sitting right next to me, is my real good buddy, Mr. Tone Vays. Big Bitcoin guru. If you don't know about him, well, I'm going to let Tone tell you all about him and his channel. Go ahead, Tone.
All right. Hey, guys. I'm not going to take too long. We're going to have a nice chat. Known this guy forever, probably since I was, probably like 13 or something, 12, 13. Go back a long way, back in days of playing ball in Brooklyn. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I have my own YouTube channel. It's Tone Vays, tonevays.com, Tone Vays on Twitter. Mostly cover markets and Bitcoin, usually travel the world, public speaker, and enjoying this little break. And we're going to talk some Star Wars. I'm going to talk some, hanging out with all our friends back in the day. So I'm going to hand it off to George there.
All right. So what's up, everybody? My name is George Graziano. I think I know Robbie a pretty long time, probably longer than his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robbie knew me before I could even speak. What was I, Rob? Probably like 6, are you 2 years old, 3 years old, right?
Yeah, you were 3. I was 8. It was like 40 years now.
So we ran into my brother when we lived around the corner from each other back in the day. Yeah, the rest is history. We went to school together. We, everybody got married. Then everybody went their separate ways. We kind of got back together, and here we are. So, like you said, I mean, Rob's like a brother to me. His brother is like a brother to me. The family here, and Tony as well. Like I've known Tony. I don't even know. Like if somebody asks me how long I know you, Tony, I really don't. I feel like I know you as long as I know Rob. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, we go back a long way. Early 90s, man. Early 90s.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're all getting old. We're all getting old. It was funny. Someone just said, "Holy," because Chris, you haven't seen me in a while. You're like, "What happened to your hair?" People like no one, because I have 100,000 YouTube followers, and like no one has any idea. My hair used to be like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And there's still some old pictures hanging around. When Bitcoin hits 100,000, the pictures with Tone Vays with long hair are gonna come back out.
Oh man.
Now it's the baldy look.
I couldn't believe when I saw Tone, he's like, yeah, I got a YouTube channel. I was like, you got a what? Let me go check. I was like, what the, where's his hair? Where's his hair? Tone's hair used to be down to his shoulders. I was like, are you kidding me? What the heck happened?
So George, you're joining me for a drink, right?
Salud.
Boom.
Oh, salud.
All right.
I opened up a nice bottle of tequila for this. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, thanks, Patria. I never heard of that.
I drank right before this. God.
And down below, I have my good buddy, my best friend in the world, my brother, who I love so much. My God, I don't know what I would have done without him. Yeah, let him tell you all about himself, whatever he wants to share. Go right ahead. It's up to you if you want to share anything.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Christopher Delavas. I'm obviously Rob's brother. I'm probably the best of the brothers, as anybody would. But yeah, I mean, these two guys that we're with right now, Tony and George, greatest guys I've ever known in my whole life. I'm actually glad that they're my brother's friends and that they actually helped me grow up. I mean, between George dropping plaster on my brother's head, which we were discussing earlier, so Rob remembers that one. But yeah, between that and me and Tony playing Pogs and collecting basketball cards on the stoops and just.
Dude, you know what? I still have like so many basketball cards.
Anthony Hardaway, man. That was Tony's main guy.
I got so many Penny Hardaway rookies, and I was only collecting cards like during those years. So it's like 93, 94, 95. I got like 10 or 20 Kobe Bryant rookies somewhere in the attic.
Bro, I still have a whole shoebox filled with all Michael Jordan cards, like rookie years. Forget it. I can't believe. But like, I kept those for memorabilia. But like, yeah, like just like back in the days, man, it's like where it was at. Like we were all playing softball, all hanging out. Like there's nobody bothering us. Just it was just a great,
weren't
totally
those on a bowling team too?
Yes.
Yes,
We were a bowling
dude,
team.
George, for
Yes.
the free pizzas and Staten Island.
Pizza.
Because it was always you, Rob, me, George, and our fourth player kept changing. But I think 1 year it was you, Chris.
Yeah, Chris the anchor right there. Chris was the anchor.
Come on, bro. You already know, bro. I'm going pro one day. One day it's happening. When it's all over.
Yeah, dude. How come you're not pro yet? You bowled 300.
I bowled 300. I bowled 800. I average a 235 right now. I'm just after this COVID is over, I'm going right to the tournaments in Long Island, and I'm gonna actually try it out.
I feel like I don't know if this is just a dream I had, or if this is actually happened. Rob, keep me honest here, but I feel like we took your brother to a bowling alley, like when one of the first few times he started bowling. You put a ball in his hand, and instead of like everybody else, they just kind of roll the ball straight down the alley, right? He threw it, and it kind of had a natural curve, right? Like he had a curve. Then when you bought a ball, he bought the heaviest effing ball that you could possibly get. I'm like, you need a 16-pound ball when you're like 12 years old, and you weigh less than the ball, like it's crazy. And you came out, Chris. You had a hook right off the bat, like you have to train to get a hook, and I feel like you had a curve naturally, and then you created your hook. I'm like, how is he throwing a hook? He's been bowling for like 2 weeks. So you have natural talent for bowling.
So don't worry, I see you guys on the chat. We're gonna get to Star Wars in a minute. Maya, lower that.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yep.
We're gonna get to them. We're just reminiscing. It's been a while. You don't understand. We haven't seen each other in like forever.
Yeah,
So
COVID isn't helping.
And if look at this, busted out the Luke and the Stormtrooper. I wish you'd bust out that AT-AT you have, man.
Oh shoot, I could have gotten it.
The AT-AT. I wish you would have brought that because that thing is class. Oh, look, he's got Boba Fett. Look at this. He's busting them out now.
I'm gonna put that on eBay soon, by the way. I'll let you know, Rob. When I'm gonna put all my Star Wars stuff on eBay pretty soon. So.
No, you are.
Well, why are you putting that on eBay, man?
I need room.
Right.
I need room. Family life.
Rob will take it.
Wow.
That's what it is.
Was that?
So anyway, people don't got a little bit of background about us. I know George about almost 40 years now. My brother's over 30 years, and Tone over 30, close to 30.
35, motherfucker.
That's right.
35. God. Old family members, right? See?
I forget. I don't want to put your age out there. I don't want to make you feel old, But anyway, so
I'm young, baby. I'm young.
Yeah.
I got the baby face. Look at this.
Tone and George.
Any of you single girls, hit up Christopher Delavas on Facebook.com. Got you.
That would turn into a dating site.
That's such a cheap plug.
Yeah, the Star Wars channel. That's where you're gonna pick up all the chicks.
Yeah, good move, Chris.
Star Wars nerds. Let's go.
So anyway, as I was trying to say, when Disney bought Star Wars out, I was like, hey guys, let's go check out Rogue One. Hey guys, let's go check out, The Force Awakens. Hey, whatever. So whatever movie, these guys have been there. Tone he'll tell you, he got a little, didn't like the last couple of movies. He's like, I think I'm going to pass. I think I'm going to pass. George stuck through it with me. We weren't, I know how I feel. I've told everybody how I feel about the sequel trilogy. My brother hasn't seen a movie since Revenge of the Sith, but we'll talk about that too. Yeah. That's a long time.
That was a great movie. Come on, dog.
It was my favorite movie by far.
Which one?
Revenge of the Sith.
I actually agree with you.
George, what do you think?
I think Darth Maul is one of my top 3 in the entire
Those double lifesavers, forget it. Come on.
Yeah, so George's would be the Phantom Menace. Yeah, the prequel. So let's see, we had a question. Let's see. Okay, you know Thomas? I take it? No?
Do I know Thomas?
Thomas D?
Do I know him?
Yeah, I'm asking because he said, I can't believe watching a live stream with Tone where he won't be sharing his stream. This is crazy. So
I got that's one of my followers.
it's got to be one of your
I,
guys.
I tweeted it out, but we still have only 13 live viewers.
Uh-huh.
So that means my followers are like thinking it's gonna be on my channel. Just waiting for it. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Here it's go. That's funny. So then my wife wrote, she said, "Oh, look at that. The quartet is back together."
Yeah.
And then, okay, Isaac, who's got great questions. Every time he comes into my stream, he's always got good questions. He said, what they wouldn't know this, so I guess it's on me. What are your thoughts of Jedi Fallen Order? I thought it was a super mediocre, predictable ex-Padawan story with no human dismemberment, which is such a turnoff. Lightsabers are supposed to cut anything. Okay, yeah, that's very
Can you
good.
explain what the Jedi Fallen Order is?
So yeah, I'm going to. So Jedi Fallen Order basically is just it's a video game that they released. It has to do with what's called the Jedi Purge, which is the story between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, which is when Darth Vader is going out looking for any remaining Jedis that have survived Order 66.
Oh, gotcha.
Order 66, if you don't know, was the order given by Palpatine that the troopers turned on all the Jedis and were killing them, and that was in Revenge of the Sith. You might not remember it, Chris, because it's a long time ago, but that's what happened. That's the whole story. I'm a big geek. What can I say? You know.
So let me ask you this. So Jedi Fallen Order takes place before Rebels begins?
That's, you know what? I'm not particularly sure if it's during that time, because even the Rebels are kind of like more into hiding. They're not known at that time, the Rebels cartoon. They're just a cell, and they don't even know that anybody else exists besides them. It's kind of all secretive. And it was meant that way so the Empire couldn't track them down and kill the whole group. So what they did was they dispersed them throughout the galaxy. No one knew about each other. So this way, if they got captured.
And here's my other question. The Jedi Fallen Order, does it take place from the Sith point of view or from the Jedi point of view?
Jedi point of view.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a young Jedi who his master gets killed. And he basically is in hiding. He's just working like everybody else, trying to, get by, but he's hidden. But he winds up that they find out that he's a Jedi because he has to save somebody, and he uses the Force to save them. And that's when they realize, wait a minute. And they got cameras everywhere, so they track this guy down, and that's
so the video is about one guy. The story is about one guy.
About one guy and his journeys through, and it's amazing because he finds out about a lot of the Jedi's and their past history and stuff like that.
And it's a video game.
Yeah,
and you're the Jedi they're hunting.
Yeah, and the whole goal is it's called a holocron, okay? And this holocron knows where all Force-sensitive people are. If the Sith get it, they're gonna go after all these kids. They're gonna take over the kids.
The whole holocron thing, like. Okay, so we know where Chris is. George, have you seen it all? Because I knew I was going to come on the show, I like binge watched everything. So because we talked about this for like months about doing the show. So I watched the entire Rebels, even though I thought it sucked.
You thought it sucked?
You prepared for this, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I did not prepare.
But it sucked.
Maya.
What?
Hey, Maya.
That's my daughter. Just say hi to everybody.
Maya.
She usually says hi to everybody in the chat, so I want you to say hi, Jedi Purge.
Hi, Jedi Purge.
Hi, Thomas D.
Hi, Thomas D.
Say hi to Yoda.
Hi, Yoda.
Okay, say hi to Mamai.
Hi, Mommy.
Oh, you got shy with that one. And say hi to Jason.
Hi, Jason.
There you go. Good job. Okay, go.
All right. So look, I'll say that the Clone Wars cartoons were excellent. The Rebels, not so much. I did watch it. We can talk about why I didn't like it. But George, are you up to date on all 9 movies? Rogue One, Solo, Rebels, and Clone Wars?
The movies, yeah, not the cartoons though. I have not watched Rebels or Clone War cartoons, but the movies.
Oh man, the Clone War cartoons are excellent.
I know. I want to get the Rebels because they're pretty canon to the story. So
okay, so what's canon? Can someone explain that to me?
It's
relevant,
it's all the movies, it's the Rebels, it's the video games, and it's the Clone Wars. Anything else like a book that they don't consider that non-canon. It's called
what about Rebels? Is that
the
canon?
story. It's part of the same story arc, Tony.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's part of the same story. Yeah.
But Solo is not canon.
No, Solo's canon.
Yeah.
It's a movie. It's canon.
Okay.
If it's a movie, all the movies are canon.
So, and
And
to
it's
that
cartoons.
point, and it's interesting, Tony, that you said Solo is not canon because you know what? I always thought. I mean, there's a lot of parts of Solo that were cheesy, but I feel like for some reason, the way they wrote that movie, that was probably one of the only movies that could stand on its own, which was kind of interesting to me. That I feel like.
I thought it was a terrible movie.
I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, it didn't feel Star Warsy, but of all the movies, I felt like you didn't even need to watch the rest of the Star Wars to really have a movie. Like it didn't require much, which is not Star Wars-ish or whatever you want to call it. Like you kind of, you know.
Yeah, no,
it wasn't a terrible movie,
they could have done a much better job. Like a lot of these things could have done a much better job. But Rogue One, we saw that together, and that was absolutely excellent.
I love that movie. Yeah, that was
I
my
remember
favorite.
when I left the theater, you guys, I said, and I said this to both of you. I said, if they make all the movies like this, it's going to be fantastic. Mine, it's your phone.
Let me ask you guys, how was that date to the music? Did Rob pay for everything?
You know,
This is the reason why you called Chris here.
I don't know, and I don't. Well, I'll tell you what. It was these movies always fell in December, and it was George's birthday when it happened to fall on. So I paid for his ticket, and the last movie I paid for Tony's and George's ticket. I paid for both of them, but then George George said he paid for it back because he missed my birthday. So he's like, you know what? He kind of just.
I miss everybody's birthday, including my own, because I'm always traveling.
Yeah, Tony's always around the world.
Yeah, Tony, yeah, and that's the other problem too. But Tony, after you saw, how'd you feel about The Force Awakens?
So I didn't watch Force Awakens with you guys.
No, you did. You said you didn't want to see the next two after that.
Yeah, it was so bad. I refused to see the next two. You know when I saw episodes 8 and 9, like last week?
It was that bad? Really?
Was that episode? The Force Awakens was so bad. The only reason why I even watched episodes 8 and 9 was because we were going to be doing the show. Otherwise, I would have never watched them. Like and now that I've watched them,
yes, that's true.
I mean, they weren't. Honestly, they weren't as bad as The Force Awakens. Like The Force Awakens was probably like the worst movie, ever.
Wow.
Yeah, like
it was pretty terrible.
Chris, what has happened with the fandom? Like back in the day, before you were born, they just had the original trilogies, 4, 5, 6. That was it. It was, Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader. That's it. We find out he's his father and all that, and we're like, wow, all that stuff. So the war was Star Wars fans versus Star Trek fans. It was never we were fighting amongst each other. That didn't happen. Then came the prequels, which was the story of Darth Vader as a young boy, which is Revenge of the Sith. Okay, that's where Revenge of the Sith.
No, that's Phantom Menace. As a young
Phantom Menace, and he's a young kid, like my daughter's age. Then he grows to a teenager in the second movie, Attack of the Clones, and then he's an adult, like his 20s, in Revenge of the Sith when he starts to turn to Vader. So basically, some people have problems with the CGI. Some people have problems with
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks, yes. I knew George.
You know what? If you rewatch it,
George
and I actually rewatched them again, because like all I've been doing is binging Star Wars last 2 months. I rewatched it, and Jar Jar Binks, like if you rewatch it, he doesn't bother me at all. It's not as bad as everyone made it out to be.
Why is he general? Why did he become general? Is all I want to know. Didn't he become a general in the Senate?
Yes. Yeah.
What? How? How?
that I don't know. That's a great question.
George. Have you been to the DMV? Have you spoken to the person in charge there? How do you become that? Like,
Tony, I'm gonna have a drink for that.
I was spit out my
I'm gonna step away.
It's like, no.
How do you become that?
I think the reason he did that because George had so much, and I don't mean you, George. I mean George Lucas had so much backlash from this character.
I know. Yeah.
That he had to tone it down, and the reason he made the character with the fart joke, whatever,
he had to tone it down. Tone is sitting right next to you.
Because he saw that the fans wanted more dark Star Wars. They didn't want a more joking, comedy Star Wars. He did it because of his kids. He was excited. He wanted like the Ewoks,
Yeah.
But the fans, that's not what we wanted. We wanted a more darker, sinister Star Wars, and that's what he gave us in the end. So look. I mean, do I hate the character totally? It's not that I hate the character. It's I hate like some of the things in it like that weren't necessary, like the fart jokes where he slips on it. He's clumsy. It was a little too silly. They could have edited those things out, and he would have been okay. You know.
Right, but you know what? But I'll take silly over what J.J. Abrams did. Good God.
Yeah.
What's up?
Right? Even Maya believes that. Look, the way she's.
And look, I'll take some silly character because everything else was fine. So you had like a silly character that they had to deal with, but he was fairly useful to them. And my problem with The Force Awakens is just the whole SJW, bullshit narrative of The Force Awakens, where you have, well, first of all, I know you're a huge fan of Darth Maul, George, and maybe they should have like not killed Darth Maul in the Phantom Menace.
Well,
but, like I'm getting really,
not exactly dead, but yeah.
well, that's the problem, right? Because it feels like they have no more creativity, that they're bringing back people that are supposed to be dead. And when Palpatine turns out to be alive is insane and ridiculous. It's like, wow, you really have no idea what to do. So you're bringing back dead characters. And that's my problem with Darth Maul. If they should have realized it, or there was another way they could have played it off. Like, first of all, don't have what's his name, Kenobi, cut him in half. Maybe have him like stab him and throw him down, so that at least it's possible for him to survive.
Yeah, right. No, I agree. I think it's bananas that he's alive. Well, that he was alive. But
they could, like, why didn't he just get up, use the Force real quick, and he falls into the pit, you know, and then that's the end, you know. So they could have done that too, thinking that he fell to his death.
So they could have killed Darth Maul in a way that wasn't 100% certain if he's dead or not. That would have been one way to handle it. And Darth Maul's character in the Clone Wars cartoons is excellent. Darth Maul's character in the Rebels, I thought was very, very silly and stupid, like most of the things in the Rebels.
Well, Rebels is very silly, right? Like very kiddie, like kind of, right?
Well, and my other problem is with starting with Rebels and moving on to the final 3 episodes, is that when the whole thing starts, if you watch it in order, episode 4, 5, 6, then 1, 2, 3, it's like the Force is not easy to use, and it's not magic, and there's limits to what you can do with it. And it's like with every single episode, there was like no upper limit to how magical the Force is.
I know, it was always like better and better.
Raising the bar. They keep raising the bar to the point where you can like teleport and do anything you want. It's like literally becomes magic. And that's also annoying.
Like I felt like here's what happened. Here's where most of the fandom, most of the videos I watch, most of the people who come on and talk about it, and even I agree, is that Luke had to learn from day one. Right? It didn't just happen. It wasn't like, whoa, I know everything and I can do everything. And the first time I try everything, it's gonna work. There it is. I could fly a ship instantly. And people are like, well, how did he fly a ship? But he had experience. He drove the land speeder, you know? So he had a little background. You know, it's not like he didn't. Rey just like picks it up. She knows the Falcon. She knows the parts of the Falcon. She knows how to fly the Falcon better than like anyone. Like she's doing all this stuff. I'm like, listen, you don't just get in a car. I don't care how good you are, and you drive. And the minute you drive, everything's perfect. Things are gonna happen. You know, you're gonna make mistakes. It's like,
I don't know. I'm a pretty good driver.
Right. And again, this is the SJW. This is the social justice warrior narrative. That this girl knows everything better than everyone, and she doesn't have to learn anything, and she can just, from the opening scene, beats up 2 guys or 2 whatever creatures double her size like it's nothing, without any indication that she has any ability to train, to fight. You know, she's using the lightsaber like she knew what she was doing. She beats Kylo Ren, who supposedly has been trained by Luke Skywalker, and she beats him with no training whatsoever. And somehow then she goes into training in the next episode, and somehow he beats her later. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, that after the training. She got
Like,
whooped.
and the guy is such a girl. Like he's like a crybaby. Like really? That's your new Darth Vader?
See, yeah. And why is he wearing a mask? I mean, they make fun of it in the movie constantly, right? Like, why is he wearing a mask? So, yeah.
The mask to me.
No, it's for
just
COVID-19,
represents-
bro.
Is the what?
The mask is for COVID-19. He already knew.
Yeah, we could say the Empire is ahead of us on that, man. They're all prepared. They got all the helmets, masks, and everything all set. But the mask is more about intimidation. Like when I was watching, when George Lucas was making Star Wars, the Stormtrooper mask was made like a skeleton. It was made to spread fear. And the Empire's whole goal is fear. They intimidate, they control. When you could, like, when you were bullied in school, what is it that makes this person have control? They're going to bully you. They're going to beat you up. They're going to beat you up after school. They're going to beat you up later on. So you're sitting there like, oh my God, this guy's bigger than me, better than me. He's going to hurt me. So that fear is what controls you. But when you stand up for yourself, the fear is no longer a factor. The control starts to disappear. And then it reverses. It's like, oh no, now I don't have that control anymore. And that's what happens in life. And that's what happened here. So the mask is just more of a representation of his grandfather, Vader, and more of just trying to spread fear through enemies. And that's how.
Can someone explain what the hell Snook is?
Oh, okay. So I always say his name wrong, and I get reamed for this. I say Snoke, and it's Snook. I always say Snook or Snoke. I always say it wrong. But
He was the puppet. Yeah, pretty much.
He was a clone. And his story is, it is a book, and I know you guys wouldn't know this. You know a lot. I'm pretty surprised, but it is a novelization that came out. They had to make a book to explain all the plot holes. So where did this guy come from? Because Johnson kills him in the second movie. Genius, by the way, absolutely pure genius. Ryan, the director and the writer of The Last Jedi, kills the main enemy in the second. He has Kylo Ren. He has him kill him. And I'm like, what? I was sitting on the screen looking at George like, what just happened here? Why would you kill the main enemy of the whole? He's the main guy. He's like the Palpatine of this trilogy.
Right, but it turns out Palpatine is still alive.
Right.
So, which is insane. Yeah.
So
and the fact that he had a granddaughter, also insane.
Yeah. I mean, basically the whole thing is just that he's supposed to be a clone, and that Sidious's spirit goes around.
Tony, I've been watching Maya rearrange your shelves for the last 10 minutes.
That's fine. You can keep playing.
So fun. Sorry.
Good?
Good job.
She's good. She's just checking out the tree. So to me, he's supposed to be Palpatine's essence, like his spirit transferred to this clone, and he's trying to keep his essence in something to make him reborn. That's what he did. That's what they say. And Palpatine himself is not Palpatine. It's a clone. It's a clone. Yep. So the clone, he uses their life spirit to create himself again.
And that, I don't know, it just got so silly. And look, they could have done, like, I don't know what, like, was George Lucas even involved in episode 7, 8, 9?
No.
Because Lucas would have
he must be so pissed.
Of course he is.
He has to be.
Of course he is.
It was a complete disaster. And honestly, I wouldn't mind if they just admitted how bad they were and then just redid. Like, bring Lucas back or bring in, like, people that actually know Star Wars.
I don't think he would
redo
come back.
episode 7, 8, 9. Just redo them. You can do a completely different storyline and make it good.
I don't think he would come back. I don't think he would, for the fact that there's going to be so much pressure on him to remake these movies that if he doesn't kill it, he's going to be known as, like, his reputation is going to go completely the other way. I feel like
I disagree. He really can't. You can't make it worse, no matter what he does. Like, they could have had Han and Leia have multiple kids. One of them went to the dark side. One of them stayed on the light side. They could have had Luke have a kid or two. You know. Also, George, you're not you're not up to date on the Clone Wars, but Ahsoka's character is still technically out there, and she is of age to still be alive and be involved. And she's becoming like the top character of everybody. She's in my top 3 favorite characters now. The way they've brought her along through the show, and she's going to be supposed to be in Mandalorian, which is okay. It's not great. I saw season 1 of Mandalorian. It wasn't great, but it was better than Rebels or the new 3 movies or Solo.
It's an
definitely
entertaining
ranking
show.
higher than them.
Yeah.
What's up?
It's an entertaining show, The Mandalorian. Like
You've seen it.
Yeah. I'm a fan. I like it. I don't love it, but I think it's entertaining. You know, like I'll take it as that. You know?
Yeah, but I really recommend you watch the Clone Wars cartoons.
Yeah.
Not the first round. There was like a silly version of Clone Wars, like there was 2 different Clone Wars cartoons.
Yeah.
The better of the 2, because one was silly and one was actually good.
The one that just came out was the latest one, right?
There were 2 sets of 2 completely independent sets. There was Clone Wars from like 2003 or something, and there was Clone Wars from like 2010.
Right.
So you want to watch the Clone Wars from 2010.
Someone made it sound like I can't find it now, but they were saying how 2008 Clone Wars. They said, "Oh man, I missed it." But anyway,
it's there. It's not that many comments, man.
is it okay?
You want me to do a search for you? What are we doing?
No,
2008?
I'll find it. No, I'll find it. Shoot.
Hold on, I'm
Oh,
misspelling.
it's somewhere here. It's somewhere here. I just saw
Clone
it.
right there, 2008.
Yeah.
Hands down, the best of the canon is the 2008 Clone
Oh,
Wars
yeah.
animated series.
There you go.
I don't know if it's the best, but it was very good. It's very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, because it brought in. Look at Chris with his mask there. That's great. Chris got his mask on. That's awesome. Chris,
Oh,
where's your
shit.
stormtrooper helmet, man?
Hold on. Speaking of masks,
Chris got on the well or something. We lost.
Where's your stormtrooper helmet, Chris? Where is it? Ah,
dude, when I got back from South Africa just in time, it's the first thing I bought.
oh, wow.
Wow. It's in Chernobyl, man.
Yeah,
Jesus.
in case it was going to get back. Speaking of Chernobyl, excellent show, by the way.
That is one of the best shows ever written, in my opinion. Chernobyl. Excellent.
Really?
Unbelievable
Excellent
show. Yep.
That shows you how much I watch TV. You guys can debate that. I'll keep quiet on this side.
No, that was very well done.
Well, could I just out of curiosity, since we're going on to it, what was it about?
The Chernobyl nuclear explosion in Ukraine
Oh, wow.
in 1986,
Yeah,
83,
it's a
86,
lot.
right?
I think so. I think 85, 86, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, in the 80s. It's only like 6 hours, the whole thing. It's a mini
Yeah.
series, like there's 6
Right.
episodes, 6 hours.
Chris, while you're there, get us some toilet paper, right?
Yeah, I don't think they
Is he in the liquor store?
Well, you get liquor? You get alcohol?
How you feel about that? Sorry.
Yeah, it was
You
so
got
I saw the funny. I saw the funniest tweet. It was like somebody tweeted out. This is like I don't know, like a month or 2 months ago. Someone is like, "This is insane. How are liquor stores and marijuana dispensaries open, but churches are closed for COVID?" And then the number 1 reply: "Booze and weed pay taxes."
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
I mean, I see you guys drink, and I have to, participate.
That's the truth.
I felt left out, honestly. I didn't get the memo.
Hey, I didn't know either, man.
We don't need
Oh,
a
I'm
memo.
here now. Here you go.
We don't need a memo.
But I got to drive home, so I got to be careful. I got to stick with the H2O. Sorry.
Let me get the Jack Daniel's honey.
So okay. So we're jumping all around here. I wasn't ready to do that. First of all, George, let me ask you this. I'll start with you. What got you into Star Wars in the first place?
Oh wow! I mean, we're talking about like 1980. I don't even remember which, but I think I saw Empire in the theater. I would have been
83.
6 years old, 7 years
Oh,
old.
which
I
one?
think it was Empire Strikes Back. I think it was
Empire
19.
Strikes
I think it
Back.
was
That was
83.
It was 77, 80, and 83. So
Yeah.
No. Empire Strikes Back was 1980.
yeah, it was
Because,
80.
It was
Return of the Jedi
It
was
was
83.
83. Yeah.
Yeah, it was every 3 years.
Yeah, 77, 80, 83 every 3 years.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, when we were growing up, Rob, you got a couple of years on me. I mean, this was it was a culture for us back then. I mean,
Yeah.
Star Wars was You would have been very not left out, but you would have been the oddball in the group if you didn't really like Star Wars or even cared. I mean, I just love the movie, the action. It's unique. I was a kid back then, and I had all the toys. I kept all the toys. I still have them. Like I showed you before, this is definitely from 19.
Oh, wow.
I think this
Oh,
is
that's crazy.
this one's from 85.
Wow.
I still have it here. Yeah. I mean,
Wow, that's the year I was born.
I kept. I mean, it's one of the few movies, series wise, right? The first three that I can play in the background all day and it would never annoy me. That's hard to explain. I'm not sure why. I just love the storyline. I love the way that everybody acted was pretty realistic, considering the time. And as terrible as a lot of the other following movies, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, why do I love Star Wars? I mean, it's history for me. I mean, we grew up in it, so
Yeah.
it was just there as part of, any bike you bought, or cereal you ate, or show you watched. Star Wars was
Oh my
there.
God.
The commercial with the sticker was,
Backpacks, lunch boxes, right?
But I mean, what else show at the time? I didn't follow the Star Trek route. I mean, I didn't go that way, right?
No.
I
No,
watch
me
Next Generation once in a while just because it's like a calming, quiet, slow-paced show with a little action. So I kind of interested in that now that I got a little older once in a while. But the lightsaber is like, there is nothing, in my opinion, more powerful than that, right? I mean, you can cut it from the way they make it seem for the most part, although not every movie now, just about anything in half with a lightsaber, right? I mean, or a light sword, whatever people are calling it. I don't know. I'm fascinated by the weapons, by the story, by the outfits, by the fact that, there's always a different movie coming out, as bad as some of them are. I don't know. It's a hard. There's a lot to that question.
Yeah.
Sorry for breaking it out.
What about you, Tom? How'd you feel?
So it's different for me because I didn't even come to this country until 1990 or thereabouts. So I saw these movies back in Russia, and they were like translated or dubbed into Russian, and it was all bootlegged and stuff. So it was great. So actually, the interesting thing is, all that text that comes up in episodes 4, 5, and 6, I didn't actually read that text until like probably recently.
Wow.
Yeah, because I couldn't read English back then. Because so I probably watched those movies when I was like 5, 6 years old, something like that, 5, 6, 7, and it was great. I mean, any American movie you got to watch. So it was awesome. Like, I could never figure out like what happened to parts 1, 2, and 3 because it was in a foreign country. Like here, everyone knew that it started with 4, but back there, like we couldn't understand. Like, hey, where's parts 1, 2, and 3? Yeah. So those were just a few movies that I remember watching when I was a kid in Russia. That was dubbed over. It was that a bunch of like Schwarzenegger movies as well, like Commando and what else did he do? Predator, like the 1980s movies.
Kill me, no.
Yeah.
Maria.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm trying to remember like some of the other my favorite movies that we got to see. There weren't many. Well, like there weren't many, but like those are the ones I really remember.
Yeah.
Star Wars is probably the most memorable of the ones that I watched. So I didn't have much of a choice.
What about you, Chris?
So, yeah.
Sorry?
How was it you? Star Wars. What got you into it? What made you watch it? What was it, man?
I'd have to say, if anything, you were the one that actually got me into it of all people. Just because you liked it, and obviously, as I was a kid, and we lost our father, you were the father figure, and just growing up with you, I was getting into the things that you liked as well, trying to bond with you. So I mean, I guess you were the influence into getting me into it. But I have to say, even to this day, I've heard a lot of people watching the new Star Wars, and they even say the same thing. Like, my favorite one is still the one with Darth Maul. That's just like the all-time favorite I hear all around. And that's just, yeah, I mean, that was just a great movie all time.
Yeah,
But
and
the originals, of course, with Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, of course, they're epic and they're never going to be
Right.
topped. But for our day and age, I would have to say definitely Darth Maul would be the all-time favorite.
Yeah, so because my brother, he grew up when the prequels were around. You know, that was the big thing to him. So Revenge of the Sith, The Phantom Menace, The Attack of the Clones, that was, and that's what I try to tell people here. And I don't know if the fans understand that when you grow up with something, that sticks with you. That's like, oh man, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen, or this, and it means so much. Like that's why people fight over it and defend it. As silly as it is, it's only a movie, I know, but here's the thing, and I try to tell people this. Okay, I like a baseball team. You like a baseball team. This one likes a team, and then people will fight in the stands about that team. No one gets paid for it. You're so passionate about your team. You're so into it. It's like. Everything else doesn't matter. And that's what it is. It's passion. It's where your heart is. And it seems silly. It seems like really, but I mean, I've seen people like George, Argentina, which is huge with, football. I mean, soccer for America. And people will fight. Even, another team. Oh, you like that? What? You don't like it? Oh my God. In Brazil, and I mean, wherever in England, people will literally fight if you're rooting for a different team and you come into their home. It's not like, okay, all right, good game. They're like, no. they're looking to pound you down. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen videos about it. So it's about passion. And to me, it's about your heart and it's what you're into. And some people don't get it. Like George said earlier, this was like a religion growing up. This was like literally, like everything was Star Wars, lunchboxes, books, comic books, you name it. We had it. We had glasses. I mean, Burger King. I remember back in the day, Burger King had glasses for Star Wars. It was huge. It was always huge. The fan. Look at this. Look at this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
To me, I'll go into this. We already know George's favorite character, but I'm going to let you get into it, George. It's pretty obvious. George, who is your favorite Star Wars character and why? Go ahead, George.
I don't know. Who could it be?
But why is it Boba? Why wasn't it Luke? Why wouldn't it be Vader? What is it about Boba Fett that draws you into his character? Yes.
I mean, it's
about my favorite Star Wars character.
You want to tell us your? Okay, let George.
Who is
it? We'll ask you. Okay. Go ahead. First it would be George and then Maya. Go ahead.
All right. I like it because he's on his own in a way, I mean, he works for whoever is the highest bidder, right? That wants, like, he'll work for
he's an assassin.
Jabba. He'll work for whoever he wants to. His squad, like the Mandalorians, they're just badass, right? They don't answer to anybody who's not paying them. He's quiet. He doesn't say anything. He looks really sleek. His weapons are super powerful. His blaster is really powerful. But the fact that he's kind of on his own and runs his own show and is kind of, I feel like, I don't know, one of the smartest there. And he can kind of play both sides if he really wanted to. They don't really do that much, but yeah. And Django, like, I like the blue in Django. And I thought I would like him more than Boba because I think the color-wise, the outfit maybe looks better, like a modern Boba Fett, but which is the reverse, I know. I still like Boba. I don't know. I still like the way he looks, the way he acts. He's just quiet. His outfit is kind of battle roughed up. Like he's seen some stuff. He's been around. His team is nobody really messes with them, unless they have a contract with them. And I like that. I like his independence and that does his own thing. And he gets.
I got questions for you, George.
Oh, great.
So, on The Mandalorian, there's not going through the movies. Oh, go ahead, Maya.
Oh, yeah, Maya, who's your favorite character?
Ray and BB-8.
Why do you like Ray and BB-8? She just likes him. That's it.
What was BB-8?
BB-8 is the little droid that goes around with Ray, the little like soccer ball kind
Oh
of.
yeah.
And why does
Oh,
she
yeah,
like them? Because generation. My brother, generation. Me,
Well-
generation. That's what it is. It's 40
Was
years.
was it weird that they're literally treating their droids like pets in the latest series of Star Wars?
So
Mm.
stupid.
Like they're literally like petting them like it's a
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah, that became a little weird. Yeah, I guess. I never thought of that, but-
about the Mandalorian.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? So there's not much about Mandalorians at all between the 9 movies. They're literally not mentioned at all. Now you get to learn a little more about Mandalorians in the Clone Wars, and you get to learn a lot more about Mandalorians in Rebels, and now they have their own show, Mandalorian. So they're like, building that character or that set of characters up. I'm actually curious. I wish if they do a movie one day about the Jedi fight versus Mandalorians, because apparently the Jedi's wiped them all out.
Yeah.
So
Well,
there
that
was a
might be in the
big war.
Boba movie, right?
Hmm?
That might be in the Boba Fett movie. I don't know if that'll be it.
No, I think this was before that. I think this was the
Yeah, it
Jedi's
was-
versus Mandalorians was before A New Hope. It took place.
Yeah, well, but I'm saying they could do a backstory. I mean, they like to do that.
So
But yeah.
it was like way before Boba was alive. But here's the thing. Here's where I think they kind of screwed up, because in the Mandalorian movie, they introduced something: you can't be a real Mandalorian if someone sees your face, which was not how Mandalorians were leading up to the show Mandalorian. Why did they do that?
Well, they made it a part of their culture, which is, and I understand what you're saying, because even when I saw the Clone Wars, they would take off their helmets.
Right,
Still.
in the Clone Wars, and not to mention, what's his name? Jango Fett, had no helmet
Yes, he did, yes.
when
But-
Obi-Wan went to meet him.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember if Django was a real Mandalorian, because I don't think he was a real Mandalorian. I think he just got into the culture. I think it's because his parents got killed. I don't know the true backstory of it, but I don't know, because Boba wasn't. Boba was a clone. Remember that? Boba was a clone.
Well, and the Mandalorian is not a race. Mandalorian is a thing. Right, because because the guy who is the lead character of Mandalorian, he was also like an orphan.
Yes, he was orphan.
So
Yeah.
being a
And the
Mandalorian,
Mandalorian took him in.
being a Mandalorian is like
maybe a
I
religion.
don't know, like
A
being
religion?
like being a priest. It's not like it's not you don't have to be from a certain place. Like
It's a secret society, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to say cult, but I mean, that's the only word I could think that comes to mind. Maybe I'm wrong about that. It's funny. A guy says Ray impossible. Well, it's my daughter. Like I said, it's just generations. I also think I know my brother's favorite Star Wars character, but what the hell, Chris? Who's your favorite Star Wars character, and why did you like that person?
Obviously, Darth Maul all time. I mean, the double
why?
lightsaber.
Why Darth Maul?
Once he brought that out, I was like, wow, that's just something else right there. Because Star Wars is all about lightsabers. Like this guy brings out a double lightsaber. Like what?
Yeah.
Like total surprise. Like all right.
And he's got moves, He's acrobatic.
I think that he should have lasted a lot longer, and they should have went a lot further with that character, because that character was the shit. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one to think that.
Well, right. Well, that's why they brought him back. And he was a big
How do you bring back a guy though after that killing of getting?
And again, that's what I said earlier. It was stupid of him to kill him that way, because then bring him back. But here's the thing: they didn't have to bring him back, because in Clone Wars, which neither one of you guys have seen, there was another Sith from the same clan as Darth Maul. So they replaced.
Did he have a
Darth
double
Maul.
lightsaber?
Wasn't his brother in Clone Wars?
Yeah, it was like either I don't remember. Like there was just so many Star Wars. There was just so many episodes, like 7 seasons. Each one had like 20 episodes. But I don't know if it was his brother or not. But it was from the same clan, from a same family,
Same species.
same species. Yeah. So and
Was there double lightsabers? Like did they?
Yeah.
His name was Savage Opress.
Yeah, I forgot his name even.
And he was like what happened was they were testing to see who would be the best.
Right.
and he was the best.
Look, they created him and then they killed him off, but they could have like kept him around instead of Maul, because it was the same thing as Maul, and that would have been much better to just keep Savage Press around instead of Darth Maul. There was no reason to bring back Darth Maul. There was also another character. There was like a lot of good characters in Clone Wars, and I was disappointed at this one. Again, you guys don't know. Rob would know. There was another Jedi who was turning to the dark side, and they killed them off, and he had 2 double sabers because he had 4 arms.
I forgot his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about, and I can't think of the name of
like Grievous, right?
And it was so disappointing how, I mean, I know I'm spoiling it for George, but it's all right. It was so disappointing how like it's insane how some of these Jedi, they're like supposed to be masters, and then you can just kill them just by shooting one blaster at them, and they have no idea how to defend it. And it's just like
they should have made it harder for them to be killed.
Right.
Yeah, that happened a lot in the movies.
Like all they had to do, and that was my biggest disappointment of Revenge of the Sith. My biggest disappointment was just make the movie 10 minutes longer and have these Jedi put up a fight against these clones before they get killed. It would have been nice.
I agree.
It would have been nice to see some of them in action, because they've been like glimpses of them all around. You never see them fight. At least give each of them a 5-minute fight scene, killing like 100 clones before they get killed. Why is that so difficult?
Showing what they can do, right? Yeah, exactly.
They don't seem so elite.
Here's the thing about that I understand your point, and I thought about that, but season 7, and again, George, I hate to spoil this for you. I'm so sorry, but I have.
No, it's all right. I didn't do my homework. I deserve it.
7, Ahsoka doesn't want to kill any of the clones.
Right.
And she's very reluctant. She's like, I don't want to, if I don't have to kill them, I don't want to, I want to try to figure out a way that we can get out of this. I think that was the problem. I think that the Jedi, they weren't supposed to be attached, okay? But the problem is they became attached. They became attached to the troops. They became attached to like Padme, right? He gets married to Padme undercover, you know? So they're not supposed to, but they secretly do. In their heart, they're like, oh my God, what are they doing? I don't understand. Why are they turning on me? And it's the shock and it's the despair. Like, man, I can't kill it. Like, I don't want to kill.
No. But Ahsoka was different, right? Like, I'm gonna debate your argument right there.
Okay, go ahead.
Ahsoka is different because Yoda had no problem healing. Yoda had no problem cutting off the heads of those.
And Kenobi.
No, Kenobi didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, he did, because when Yoda and Kenobi went back to the temple.
Oh, when they went back.
That's
right.
Yes.
Right. So it's just Ahsoka is the exception, and there's a lot of exceptions about Ahsoka because she wasn't even a Jedi at the time.
Now there was another Jedi who also was flying a ship, so I can't blame him. He's in a ship. They come behind him.
That's fine.
You can't
but like that golden
you guys are such a cute couple.
Yeah. that girl, the green,
the blue girl, the Twilight.
Yeah. Like you never see her fight.
Sure, she just got shot up right away. Yeah.
And the other messed up thing was how easily Palpatine like killed 3 Master Jedi. Like
that was kind of that kind of bothered
like that was bad. Like they could have put up a better fight. Like if you it's like these fights of like 1 against 4 or 1 against 5 are awesome. You guys seen Game of Thrones?
No,
of course. Yeah.
George, you saw Game of Thrones?
Yes, I have.
Chris?
No. Did you see? No.
So George, you'll probably resonate with this. My favorite scene, like one of my favorite scenes in all of Game of Thrones, was when what's his name, Bran is looking back in time, and his young father and like 6 guys are going to fight. What's his name? Take care of her. They're going back. He's going for his sister. And they run into a Sword of the Morning. What was his name? I forgot his name, but that one guy who was like fighting 1 against 5, and he beat them. You know what scene I'm talking about?
I can't remember for some reason.
Oh man, it was when it was a flashback scene to when Ed Stark is like 18 years old, and when he sees his sister give birth. I don't want to give away Game of Thrones here. It's not the
Right. I think I remember that.
Right. And it was that one guy. What the hell was his name? Maybe people in the live chat will know. You know, we only have like 7 live viewers.
Who's that?
Who was what? You haven't seen Game of Thrones, Rob.
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Man, what was his name? He went back, I can just Google it. I'm like sitting in front of like 2 laptops here.
I'm looking it up now.
right there. Look it up, Tony. Look it up. Look it up, Tone.
Yeah, I'm doing the same.
No, I got it. Oh, Sir Arthur Dane. Here, I'll send you the scene, George. Or I can just play it. I can just do a screen share. Here. I'm gonna play screen share. Oh no, fuck. Rob's channel might get fucking flagged, but it's okay. It's Rob's channel.
Oh, nice.
It's like a 2-minute scene, and it's on YouTube. As I'm playing it from YouTube. Here, hold on. I'll do it.
Sir Arthur Dane?
Yeah, it's only like 2 minutes. You're not gonna get flagged for that, Rob. Here.
Oh yeah, Sword of the Morning.
Here, this scene.
I looked for you on the Trident.
Tournament.
A friend, the usurper, would lie beneath the ground if we had been.
The Mad King is dead. Rhaegar lies beneath the ground. Why weren't you
Screen
there to
sharing?
protect your prince? Our prince wanted us here.
Oh.
Okay,
Hold on.
okay. Coming back.
Where's my sister?
Can you guys hear this?
Yeah, I hear it.
So here, Rob. So this is what I mean. Like this is how the fight between Palpatine and 4 Jedi was supposed to look like.
Okay.
It's 2 guys against 6 right now.
No.
And they all know how to fight.
Now it ends.
It's lagging.
Yeah, it's very laggy.
Damn.
Now it's 1 against 5.
Yeah, me and George got cutscenes.
Yeah, it's very laggy. It's hard to make out.
Oh really?
Yeah, on our end at least.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done a better job with even with choreography in some of the Star Wars stuff. This
All I know is that Darth Maul would have sliced all of them up. That's all I know.
Yeah.
The one guy fighting was 4, now 2. That's the bad guy.
Oh my God! Wow. And that guy died, by the way. That guy with the gray hair. He died.
Yeah.
In real life.
So this is what a fight of 1 against 4 is supposed to look like. Yeah, it sucks that it was laggy on your end, guys.
It is.
Yeah,
Extremely.
with a little leggy. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see how it gives a leg in.
All right. Anyway, let's cut the screen share.
Well, that's.
Go
ahead.
I mean, to me that I understand what you're saying because, I've watched
Revenge of the Sith.
God, what's it called?
Revenge of the Sith.
I like a lot of Chinese martial arts type films. So I've watched Ip Man. I don't know if you know about that. That's Bruce Lee's mentor.
I know about it, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, man.
Oh my God, Ip Man
like-
1 and 2 are fucking great, absolutely great.
I need to
And,
watch those.
That's what I can relate to that because in Ip Man, he takes on in the first one 10 guys that know Japanese martial arts, and that's where there's a war versus China. So it was like death, to the death. I fight you, and that's it, no mercy. And he took on 10 guys. Then in the second one, he took on 35. So yeah, I get that.
No, but that's a little too much. That's a
a lot better.
That's a little too much, and that gets into the unrealistic zone, right? But 1 against 4, 1 against 5, if the one is skilled. But remember, you're not. It's one very skilled guy against 30, kids that don't know how to fight. That's one thing, right? But if you were But if you're a skilled guy about to fight 4 other skilled guys, like you shouldn't be able to kill 2 of them in the first 3 seconds. Like that's not how like that's how it's supposed to work. So like they could have made the movie.
Steven Seagal took out 5. Steven Seagal took out 5 versus 7. You know, I mean, Seagal took out a lot of people too.
Yeah, but
it's possible to take out 10. Anything above that, that's it's improbable.
Well, to me, in Star Wars history, the best 4 lightsaber duelists, and 2 on each side. You're gonna have Yoda, Mace Windu, and you're gonna have Palpatine, and you're gonna have Count Dooku. As far as I know, those are the best top 4 at that time. Anakin's close to being there, but he wasn't fully there yet because he was still being.
Well, he already beat Dooku, though.
I can agree with that 4.
But I'm saying like right before Anakin came up, those were the top 4. So now you have in Revenge of the Sith, you have the top 2 facing each other: Mace Windu and Palpatine. But Palpatine was a Sith Lord, you know. And again, like Tony said, if you're gonna have him kill him, don't just jump up. They're dead already. I agree.
He's dead, right? Give him a battling fight to the end.
And that's the thing. Like, and some of those Jedi were like on the Jedi Council, so they're supposed to be good swordsmen, right? And it's like that guy.
Right, like they trained everybody else, like so the guys that they trained can last longer than them. Like,
and it's bad. And
well, that's
the
exactly what turned me off on Star Wars. Once after Darth Maul, like maybe another 1 or 2 of the movies after that, like it just seemed unrealistic. Like, you know, all these guys, like you're saying, like, you know, they're training for God knows how long, and they're supposed to be masters, but they're dying within seconds. And
like
no fights. Like, what is going on? Like, at least Darth Maul went out with a bang. Like he battled Obi-Wan. Then he beat Obi-Wan. Then he went after his mentor, and then at least he died versus 2 guys, 1-on-2. That's a battle.
Yeah, I understand. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I was gonna say it's one thing if it's like a sneak kill, but if someone's in front of you, like they shouldn't be easily like that one guy that just got shot off the roof by Boba Fett or Jango Fett. Right there, standing next to
that was stupid.
Right next to Dooku, and that guy was on the Jedi Council because, like, that's the thing. When I was rewatching this stuff for the show, every time they had the Jedi Master Circle, I would pause it so I can take a look at who's sitting on those chairs. So that guy was like one of the Jedi Masters. Just can't stop a freaking bullet, like from one guy shooting at him.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, right? Like all of a sudden, like
it wasn't out of nowhere. He was standing right in front of him.
Yeah. So
I'm saying like just, as a producer, the producer puts that out of nowhere, like, oh, he could die all of a sudden, like real quick, like, what? That makes no sense.
Yeah,
and there's some things that are questionable about the prequels. And
let him stop the bullet real quick, and like right there, like, and then like have another face off, like. Give him something.
Look at Kylo Ren. Like when they start the Force Awakens, and maybe George and Tom will remember. Chris wouldn't know. When we first see Kylo Ren, to me, what I loved about it was he comes out, he's intimidating presence, and the guy's trying to shoot him, and he's holding the blaster in the air while having a conversation with him.
That was phenomenal. Like, that was the only.
I never ever saw that. Yeah. And I was sitting there like, wow, that's really cool, because it's interesting to see a new Jedi have a different power that someone else don't have.
I agree.
So the beginning, I was like, okay, we're gonna get the baddest mofo here. This guy's gonna come and he's gonna
and then an hour later he starts on the floor begging and crying.
Yeah,
because a girl beat him up who never actually trained for anything.
Love it.
They could have chose a better actor too. I can't take this guy seriously.
They're taking the Star Wars to a shitty level. I'm sorry. Like they like it was great in the beginning. Maybe the first 7 movies tops, maybe even 8 top, and it just falls off. But you know what? It has to be expected because there's so many movies on how long can you extend the franchise. You know, how many stories can you actually make for it to be interesting to the public? Same thing goes with like Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious, it was great like in the beginning. Now all of a sudden, like they're veering off. Like before Fast and Furious, everybody's like, oh, it's about cars, racing. Now all of a sudden it's about storyline and families.
Yeah,
and
no,
like,
it's so hard.
where'd you go with this? Like you went from Fast and Furious racing cars to Family Matters. Like,
Yeah,
come on. Where's Carl Winslow? Where is he? Like,
there haven't been
they
been any good movies. Like it's all about shows now.
It's like, it's getting boring. Like, you want to do a movie? Do a movie trilogy. Fine. Matrix trilogy, things like that. Fine. Cut it off after 3 or 4. But like once you extend it after that, there's only so much further you can go to interest the public. Like, because you're gonna get boring after a while. How many stories can you fucking pull out?
Yeah.
Yeah, Matrix was a good series.
Yeah.
Matrix is phenomenal, but Matrix is on a whole different level that most people don't understand. Like Matrix is trying to go towards like the Bible and like towards like religious things. Like
Matrix, I thought Matrix did the opposite of what Star Wars didn't do. The fight scenes in Matrix lasted too freaking long.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, but at least they lasted, and at least they like, oh, Neo is training how to fight. All right, now we're gonna put him into battles that last 15 minutes and show his training.
But by the way, if you guys want a really good martial arts movie, if you haven't seen it, called On Bak. It's like 20 years old now.
Oh, come on! I already know On Bak 1, 2, and 3. I know On Bak.
Well, 2.
Okay. Do you know the main character in On Bak was actually in Ip Man 3, and Ip Man whipped his butt down those staircases.
Really?
Gotta watch it.
I gotta watch it. I'll watch it. It's on my next to watch list. Ip Man
3. Ip Man 3 has the guy from On Bak. I forgot his name. Damn. And Mike Tyson is the main character, the bad guy. Yeah, Mike Tyson's the bad guy, and he fights against Ip Man.
Nice.
It's dope. It's a good fight too. It lasts like 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's well, what was I gonna say? I already forgot.
Yeah, On Bak was definitely a great movie. Great movie. Very few people know about that one.
I'm gonna check out Ip Man. It's on. Oh, my favorite show right now on TV is Billions.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Yeah, Billions. It's a show about finance.
How about Succession?
It's a show about a hedge fund. It's an excellent show. Excellent.
Yeah, I like Succession, so maybe I'll pick that up.
Wait, what show?
Succession.
Never heard of it.
Tony, you never heard of Succession?
No, how you spell?
Are you kidding me?
Californication? Californication's a good show.
What's it called?
Yeah, I heard that was a good show. Chris.
Succession?
I heard that was
Californication's great.
George, spell it.
Succession.
I found it. No, I never heard of it.
Awesome.
Oh my god, dude.
Forget it. He dominates that season.
It's about, just to give you, I mean, I won't bring it into this channel because it's not really related, but it's.
No, it's fine. Go ahead, man. It's fine.
I think we're wrapping up anyway.
No, we got time.
It's about a company, a huge company. They pretty much do media. They do like amusement parks. They have tremendous control. And the whole family is in the company. And they are all stabbing each other in the face, and even in the back, in the face. It's so good, Tone. I think you'd appreciate it.
All right, but hey, so I'll watch this, but you gotta watch Billions.
I'll watch Billions.
Space Jason said Billions is the best written scripted show on TV right now.
Yeah.
Really?
That's wow.
Since Game of Thrones.
Is this on regular TV?
No, it's on like Showtime or something.
Okay.
Since Game of Thrones ended, Billions became my favorite show.
Isaac says Castlevania is a must-watch. It's an adult cartoon on Netflix, and the animation is super smooth.
Castlevania?
Like
the video game?
Castlevania.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yo, when are we playing softball?
By the way, Tone had something with softball he showed me about playing in a park, by the way.
Oh, yeah, because of COVID, so all these minor league stadiums are totally empty. So you can like literally rent an entire minor league stadium for like $1,000 a day.
No way. Oh my God, come on.
And he threw that at me, and I said, you know what? I'm going to have to try and speak to people about it. I didn't want to
10 people alone, $100 each. Forget it. We got it.
Dude.
Come on.
Yeah, that's
$50 for 20 people.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, let's get let's get the old gang together. Get a softball game going.
Dude,
And we can get
I am
fans.
so out of shape.
We can get
I'll
people
probably
to
break
watch.
both my legs.
They can pay
But
us.
I don't care.
Oh,
We'll have an ambulance standing by us. We're all
oh,
40 now, and it's not like we were when we were in our early
those vaccines
20s.
are going out.
No.
Oh,
That's funny. By the way,
great.
Isaac
George,
writes.
you're gonna dive. You're gonna play short, George. You're gonna dive.
I'm waiting for him to start making fun of me when we didn't play for like a year or two, and we had our epic game back, and then I almost break my ankle in practice on like the last play before the game started.
Yes, I remember that.
It was a foul ball. The guy hit it. He got up in the air, straight up in the air. It was like big windmill, and he's oh my god, okay, and then
I stepped right on it. I stepped on the floor. I almost break my ankle.
Epic softball days.
I literally, I was done. I played that game. I think I played third base because I couldn't run, and my ankle was done. Once, man, I came so close to breaking it. It was like the last play in practice before the game
Yo, I'm
started.
crying.
So we had some funny stuff. I don't believe we're going to softball from now, but since we're going there, I remember there was a guy, Jimmy. You remember Jimmy?
Let's go there.
This is a guy named Jimmy, and my friend's his first base, and he, God rest his soul, he passed on, and he's like, "Hey, can you put my phone on the cooler?"
Yeah.
He's like, "On the cooler? Yeah, sure, I got it on the cooler." So he takes the guy's cell phone, $200, $300 at the time. That was like the most expensive phone, and he puts it into the cooler with ice, water, soda.
I was standing on deck right next to
George
Jimmy
and Tony
when
are sitting there looking at each other. Like,
No. I said, no, I said, Jimmy.
Yo, Jimmy.
I said, what'd you do?
Jimmy looked at me.
He's like, what do you mean what I
Yo,
do?
Chris. He's like, Chris, is it okay if I throw it in there? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
and then he realizes after what he did. I'm looking at him like, what'd you do? So he scrambles to get it, and he's like this. He's on it.
Yo, that was
He's gonna
great.
do anything, and he said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna make it work." He takes the shirt, and he's trying to dry it off and blow into it. I was like,
Oh my
"It's not a
God,
Nintendo
that
game.
was epic.
It's not a Nintendo 64 game where you blow on the switch."
Softball days. The softball day. I wish we'd go back to those
The
days,
guy
man.
possibly think.
All right.
By the way, he loves, a lot of people.
We've done so many things there.
Yeah, we had a lot of great times, man. A lot of great times. So many. Yeah, I didn't want to go to reminiscing, but if you want to go to reminiscing, we could do that. God, I remember George. I always talk to George about this. George comes up to the plate and I'm the catcher. So I'm like, all right. And George is sitting there like, Rob, man, I'm so exhausted today. I'm so tired.
We had bowling the night before.
I'm watching the ball go.
Yep.
And he comes around base. He comes up the second time. I said, I thought you were tired, Booty. You just hit the ball out of the park. He's like, man, that was luck. But boom! He goes,
Yep.
What is happening here?
He was on my team. I was like, yes, George. Let's go.
You're crushing the ball. I said, dude, before you ever play again, make sure you don't sleep because you could hit like monster shots here.
That was
George was third pick that day. I remember that.
Yeah,
Jonathan and George.
I was
Jonathan, Jamal, and George. That was the top four. That was awesome. Fucking awesome.
Yeah, we had a lot of great times. We did a lot of great things. But so let me get back into the topic. We've talked a little bit of some things that were stupid. What was the worst thing about Star Wars? Worst scene or something, your character or whatever? What was the worst that you said, oh my God, this is horrible? Tom.
No, I mean, like just the whole concept of Episode 7. I mean, Episode 7 really ruined it. It was just the complete like turning. It wasn't even Star Wars. Like it was half continuation, half remake. it's either a continuation or a remake. It was like a remake of episodes 4, 5, and 6.
It was a remake of A New Hope, pretty much. It was a
Remake of A New Hope as a continuation by
Yeah.
someone that did not even understand Star Wars at all. It was just bad, like everything there. If I eliminate those, it becomes hard. Like if we ignore how bad a 7, 8, and 9 was,
Would it be Jar Jar?
and then it would maybe be Jar Jar. But I would still say it was just the lack of Jedi fight scenes in Revenge of the Sith. And the thing is, and a lot of people
Wait, the lack of, or that they didn't fight well. Which was it?
It was both. It was both. It was the lack of the fighting. It was you can treat it any way you like. Because like the thing is, I rewatched episode 2, and everyone said
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. Everyone said that episode 2 was really, really boring. Nothing happened until the very end. But I'm okay with a boring movie as long as the ending makes up for it. And the ending of the movie was really, really good. And I got a funny story from that one. So I was in college at the time when that came out, and we got the tickets to the very first opening, because what a lot of people don't realize is movies always open on a Friday, but a lot of movie theaters, well, back then, I don't know how it is now, but back then it was brand new around because of all the hype of Star Wars. I think that episode 2 was the first one that a movie theater upstate New York where I was airing it at 12:01 midnight Thursday evening, which was technically Friday. And a lot of people didn't know that was happening. So we were able to get tickets to that show. And it wasn't even full. It was like half the seats were empty because no one realized that it could air Thursday night because it was 1 minute after midnight. So it was technically Friday. And so I was literally one of the first people to watch the movie in the theater. So no one knew, there were no spoilers. This is before the internet was new. And we get to that last scene right after what's his name? Dooku defeats Obi-Wan and Anakin. And Yoda comes out. And some wise ass sitting in the back row just screams out with laughter, "Ha ha ha, Yoda's here. We're about to see some sword fighting now," in the most sarcastic voice ever. Because no one had any idea that Yoda would actually pull out a lightsaber and start fighting.
Yeah, yep.
Right, at that point, yeah.
I remember the reaction. I wish I had if they had a phone back then, the reaction with the crowd at that moment, everybody was like, "Whoa!" And you heard the whole theater, what is going? That's for you. What is going on right now? And it was great because you just felt that emotion from everybody, and I love that. I love when you could feel the theater. Another thing, I didn't go in the theater, but I would see reactions of people taking their cameras and going to Endgame. And when they went to Endgame and they showed, did you see Endgame? The Avengers, the Marvel.
I saw it.
Great movie. All the Avengers.
Did you guys see Endgame before I say anything?
I liked it.
Yeah. I've seen all of them.
Okay, so when Captain America grabs the hammer, the crowd, you just heard him going crazy, and he's fighting Thanos.
Which doesn't actually make sense.
Right, but I just hearing the crowd reaction,
Yeah, it does.
I love to hear that when you're in a movie and you get that stadium feeling, when you have two teams clash, that playoff atmosphere, and that's when you go to a movie and you have that. That's really
So you talk about the 2000 World Series with the Yankees and the Mets.
Yeah, guy.
Wait, you're
talking about that.
there we go, brother.
Sorry, George. Sorry.
He can hold on to that, buddy. It's all good.
Greatest Yankee win ever, baby.
Chris, he wants to put up a certain finger right now, but he's
greatest Yankee win ever. Doesn't matter. Over the Mets, 2000, you had your chance.
But when you have that kind of reaction in a movie, you go to a movie, it's quiet, you're eating popcorn, you're drinking soda, you might hear some whispers. But when everybody's like, "Oh," that's a great feeling. That's
rare. Yeah.
It's not just you. When it's still, you could hear the whole theater. It's good. That's a kick-ass movie. That's the movie you want to be at. And I wish I was there. I wish I would have seen it because I couldn't believe but it kept selling out every time. And I was like, I'm never going to see this movie. So,
well, I can remember a position that I personally had with that experience was with you personally, Rob, when I was playing my baseball championship and I was at shortstop to win the championship, and everybody thought that I fouled it up. It was a ground ball to shortstop. I was playing shortstop, and I purposely popped it out of my glove to catch it and throw out the guy at first, and everybody was like, "Oh my god!" That's how
I remember. But it was brilliant because it really looked like you messed up the play. The ball bounced up. I was like, oh my God. No.
Everybody's like, oh my God, he erred it. That was it. And game over. Nope. Popped out of my glove. And
that was brilliant. I also remember that game. I remember that game.
Whoa, it was a line drive that he.
It was a pop up to short.
Right.
So no. Yeah. It was a ground ball to short.
Oh, it was a ground ball.
I was pitching the championship game. I came out in the ninth inning because they wanted another pitcher to come in. So they put me at shortstop. It was 2 outs. The last guy was up, and he hit a ground ball to me. I was playing shortstop, and I ran in for it, and I scooped it up, and I popped it out of my glove to catch it and throw it. But at that point, everybody there was like, oh, shit, he erred it. Like, it popped out, like, but I purposely did that, and because they didn't know that play at that point. That's when that play started coming out.
It was amazing. You hit a shot, man.
But I heard everybody just like.
Chris, you hit a shot with the ball that I think the ball's still going on. I don't even know if it landed.
Oh yeah, that was
just like must have went on the other field. I was like,
I got everything of that ball.
I was like, you must have got like 7 or 8 RBIs like it because you did it twice, and that shot the guy almost fell his ass. It was like boom.
He's like bing. So I was like, yep.
The blast.
Dominating.
But that kind of feeling is what I'm talking about because when everybody gets excited, that's what you want to see in movies. That's what you want to see in TV shows.
Yeah.
When you don't get that, like I could say, and Tony and Mrs. George, when you saw the last Star Wars movie, did you get that feeling at all, or were you just sitting there like, okay, whatever?
Wait, which one?
The last Skywalker.
What about it?
I was asking how because you didn't come, you were away, and how did he feel in the theater? Because I know how I felt. I was just like I was very disappointed in the ending.
No, I mean, come on. He was. I mean, no. The ending with the lightning strike on all the freaking vehicles above the Emperor.
I want to explain one more stupidity from that last movie. How in the world does Palpatine or the clone of Palpatine or the ghost of Palpatine, I don't care. How in the world do they build like 1 million ships on this planet, and all these ships have people in them, and no one knows where this planet is, and you got to go find this little device?
You're right.
I want to explain
that. That was. It's a but like this guy said, it's the writers. He said if it's poor writing.
It's the what?
What they need is good writers. The Mandalorian proves that
they fire them all.
You can make something good in a pre-existing universe. Now they just need good directors with a new president who isn't out of touch. That's what any show. If you have a good writer and you have a good director, you got to hit.
Yeah, they're running out of ideas. That's my point that I was bringing that back before. Like Fast and Furious, they're just running out of ideas. Like there's only so far that you can bring a series of anything, of any concept in movies. There's only so far you could bring it. Because if you bring it far enough, then you might as well make it not a movie. You got to make it a TV series at that point, like seasons and shit like that. Like but otherwise, like going 9, 8, 7 fucking movies, like you run out of ideas, and then people are gonna get bored, and then they're gonna criticize. Before it was great. Oh, Star Wars was fucking epic. It was all the regular Star Wars with Han Solo, and that was all iconic and historical. But like once it got past like 5, 6, and like they kept going, and like you start running out of storylines, it's like what's going on here? Like that's where people get bored. They get bored and they criticize.
Another thing, Chris, and George and Tony, I don't know if you guys remember. You remember Bill and Ted? They now got a Bill and Ted movie. They just dropped the trailer. They're gonna have, if you guys remember Avatar, I don't know if you remember Avatar from 15 years ago with all the people who blew and they had the army and they're gonna.
What do you mean? Do I remember?
Not just a part 2. they're gonna have a part 2, a part 3, a part 4,
No, but that
and a
was
part
planned.
5.
I mean, that's okay. That's okay. There's no realistic storyline like with Avatar. It's more animated.
But it goes on the idea of they don't have anything now, because why you wait to now? Why do you wait 15 years later to put out?
Well,
Why did you wait
that's how in the movie business you captivate the audience, because like Bill and Ted, like that's sorry to say, like, pardon my profanity, but like that's brilliant because they haven't. When was the last time you seen a Bill and Ted movie?
Yeah.
So now they took that break for 15 years at least, and let's come back. Now they're going to build audiences all around the world.
Look, if you wait 20 years plus, it's okay to remake a movie. You can remake it with, better technology, remake the movie for the modern age, like add cell phones.
What CGI and all that. Yeah, that's cool and all, but it's not realistic. It's not I mean, you know what? They're catering, I guess they're catering at this point to the modern generation, because like in our generations and all 3 of our generations, we're all about like Die Hard, like that's the ultimate movie, like Die Hard, and like all those great movies, like 90s movies that there was actual explosions, like they actually put money into dynamite. Now it's all CGI and like great picturing and all that, and it's unrealistic. But then on top, like it's fine that it's unrealistic and like it's more catered to like the visual, but at least have a storyline, man. Like nowadays, there ain't no storylines like Lethal Weapon and like Die Hard. Like there's nothing like that no more. Now it's all they're running out of ideas.
Let George go. Hold on, let George.
Speaking of realistic, Rob, you might know this more, or Tony, anybody. With Force Awakens, didn't they try to go with real explosions? Less CGI, more what is that called when they have the animated, the puppeteers with robotics, like they did in Jedi and Empire Strikes Back?
No idea.
Force Awakens, that was supposed to be a thing where they wanted to make it more realistic and less CGI. I don't know if that continued on though with Last Jedi and the rest. You don't know?
I'm not too sure either. I'd have to look into that. I'm not, but that's good. I didn't think about that, but that is.
I wonder if anybody on your channel can chime in, because in the Force Awakens, the blaster blasts, the explosions did seem a little bit more intense than the other movies.
It did seem much more realistic. I have to say, like when the X-wing comes in and they're in the castle and it hits they're shooting the troopers and they go back. It did seem very realistic.
I got another question. Like this is another thing that bothers me about the little thing that bothers me about Star Wars. You guys are gonna laugh, but I would love to hear an answer for this. So in the whole, let's talk about just the first 4, the first 6, not even the last 3, because I wasn't paying attention enough in the last 3. But in the first 6, so all throughout, the dark side, the Sith, they're the color red. They got the red lightsabers. Right. The Jedi, blue, mostly blue and green. Right. How come all of the laser blasters from their ships are green from the dark side and red from the Jedi? Can someone explain that?
I never even noticed that. That's a good point.
That's funny. That is funny, and he's right about.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's so funny. It's a great because it's like totally the opposite. Like, okay, we're shooting red, you're shooting green.
Right. Like we should be shooting green.
Maybe because when they did so many, I'm just thinking maybe they deflected so many blaster shots that maybe when the same color blaster deflects the same color.
Nah, come on.
You'd be surprised.
I'm not defending them, George.
No, but
I'm not defending them. I'm just saying.
What about like the TIE fighter? Like when you see the TIE fighter trying to shoot the X-wing, you'll see
the fighters.
You can actually show that because it's old footage.
Yeah, you're right. They're right.
All the space fights, the Empire is shooting green and the Rebels are shooting red.
Yeah, you're right. That's weird. I never even noticed that.
It drives me nuts all the time. Every time I watch Star Wars. Am I the only one? No,
it's very
I don't think anybody cares enough.
Star Wars glitches. There it is. Tony, you should text. You should email them. What's up with that? Why is your lazy friend?
It's funny too, like when they say like these people say, "Oh, well, Star Wars is for kids," and I'm like, okay, let's go back. The first movie I ever saw is kids. A guy gets
before I was born.
Yeah.
There's nothing is for us.
a guy gets
So
a
that's
guy
that's
gets
like
his arm
saying
chopped off.
animation is for
You
kids.
see the arm and the blood.
Yeah.
Then you see Luke's aunt and uncle burnt alive, and you should see their skeleton.
Then you see Han Solo shit first.
Yeah.
At least they used to see it.
So you want to talk animation, and how about Family Guy, American Dad? That's NC-17 plus.
Yeah.
All those jokes and forget it. It's come on. You can't base it on that.
So
And
it's
the
funny when they say, like, okay, there's some things for kids, yes. Like Rebels, like you guys said way earlier, was like, oh, it seemed a little kiddish. I think they were kind of trying to gear it towards kids more.
Well, yeah, that was the point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because they want to grab the new generation, like my daughter. You know, they want to grab them in because they have me and they have George and they have my brother. So now they're like, okay, we got them. How can we grab these people? But here's the thing, you can't.
They don't have me no more, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, Chris, you're not the only one. There's a lot of people who say, "Oh, Star Wars is dead to me. It's dead to me. I can't take it."
It fell off. But I'm not. Same thing with in my generation. It's all about racing and all that shit too. And like everybody's about Fast and Furious, and like they say the same thing. It fell off. It's the same thing. There's only so much you can do.
I stopped watching that as well. Oh, by the way, since you mentioned Family Guy, I think George, you like that show also.
I love Family Guy.
It's been a while though since I watched it.
If you guys enjoyed Family Guy, you have to watch Orville. Orville is hilarious. I was never.
Is that like
How
the-
about F is
Yeah,
F is for family. F is for family. Watch that one. That's a great show.
Have you seen Orville, Chris? Because that's on regular TV. That's not a cable show. Or The Orville. The Orville is like a comedy spoof based off of Star Trek.
Yeah,
But it stars Seth.
MacFarlane. Yeah, so the guy that created Family Guy, he created Orville and he stars in Orville. So he's acting.
Oh, Orville. Yeah. Okay.
Orville. It's
So
funny.
it's like it's almost like
Spaceballs was the Star
right.
Wars.
Yeah. No, I've seen a couple episodes.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was all right. I at that point when Orville came out, I think F is for family is when it came out as well, and I got more into F is for family because that's just more truthful on the family life. Like you got it, like you have to watch F is for family, like to understand. Like as family guys, as you know, you have families of your own. It's iconic. It's just great.
So I'll go
Like,
into
it's so on point. It's disgusting.
Okay. So I'll go into about the last topic, and then we could call about this. Basically, so I got a sense of you guys. So what, because I don't think I heard about George. I heard Tony. Tony was saying that he didn't appreciate the last three. He didn't appreciate how in the prequels, how the Jedis died so fast. What is it about Star Wars that bothered you, George, that you could have done without, or you would have changed? What was it for you exactly?
What was it for me? Leia floating in outer space and somehow coming back.
That was bad.
Yes.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yes.
Agreed.
And then when the girl was, the bomber, right? When she was trying to set off the release.
Yes.
She was also exposed. But I mean, okay, right? These are little things.
Good point. Yeah, I agree. There was a bomber in The Last Jedi. It was like so the sister's trying to get the remote, whatever, and he's like, so the thing opened,
She's exposed to the vacuum of space.
But she was killed.
But she got
She was killed, but not by the vacuum of space.
Yeah, it wasn't space.
No, but she was like laying on something. She couldn't.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she was laying on a platform. She was also on a platform. She couldn't move because it opened up. So
yeah, but the second you're exposed to space, you instantaneously freeze and you die. There is no like.
Well, you can't breathe. You go into respiration, and then your lungs freeze over, and then you freeze.
I get it.
Inside out.
Considering the other nonsense, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah,
I
I
hate
just
Luke's stepfather.
What made you cry, George?
cry.
What
Nothing
made
made
you
me
tear up?
cry.
I don't think
What made you tear up? Nothing. Nothing. Really?
Made me cry? Like
tear,
dad
like
cry?
in Star Wars. Nothing in the whole Star Wars has ever made you tear a little bit. Like, oh my god, why did this happen?
I mean,
Nothing. No shock. I cried when Darth Maul died. I was like, no, what the fuck?
why?
I want him to go on.
Yeah. I mean, hold on.
That
Let me
had
think
something.
about.
Something in your life. When Princess Leia died, did you tear a little?
In real life, it was. I remember that day. I was shocked. I mean, she's going off to somewhere, and she has a heart attack on the airplane. I'm like, nah, let me get whatever. And that bothered me because
and Luke lost his arm to Vader. Come on.
No.
Ah!
Well, I don't know if anything. Listen, the most upsetting thing, I guess, was maybe seeing Darth Vader die. I think that was a powerful moment.
That was.
I didn't cry. I don't remember crying at all. It didn't. None of the movies made me cry. It just made me
Had
feel.
a tear in your eye. Something. Nothing.
No, I don't think I ever.
Darth Maul made me tear a little. I was like, oh no, why? One movie, man. One movie. Why?
No.
Let him last the second one.
I think Tony touched up on a lot of it. Between Rey, between Leia Poppins flying in the sky, between Luke's death, I thought was horrible. I think the worst scene ever, and Chris didn't see the movie, the worst scene ever in Star Wars history, ever, was when in The Last Jedi, Finn is going to try and stop the big cannon from shooting so the Resistance can survive, they can get away.
Oh, and that Asian girl stuff.
Oh my God, I swear to God, if I wanted to throw something at that moment, if my phone was in it, I swear my phone was in my hand.
Oh wait, I got more stupidity.
God,
The thing is, I saw episodes I didn't watch episode 7 because I wasn't gonna put myself through that torture again. So I saw episode 7 like years ago when it came out. I only saw episodes 8 and 9 recently. So here's the biggest stupidity ever from episode 7. Here it is. This is probably like even more like this is probably stupid. The stupidest thing ever. So because they were recreating A New Hope with that movie as a continuation, they had to recreate the Death Star. But they didn't want to be so obvious to recreate the Death Star. So they recreated the Death Star inside a planet. Right? You remember? Oh, Chris, you didn't see them. Good.
The Star Killer base.
Star Killer base.
And in the middle of the planet, they build that freaking thing.
The laser,
That fired once and destroyed the planets around it. And now what do you do with it? Because you can't move the planet.
Yeah.
That's the point. That's a good point.
And not only that, but if you take out the sun scientifically, and the sun is gone, life it doesn't exist. Without the sun, that's it.
Yeah, we can't.
We get oxygen from plants. If the sun is gone, life is over.
But like, can someone explain?
You don't have to blow up
If the sun is done, the sun will be a Big Bang theory, and then we'll all explode every planet.
You're gonna have no heat. The planet's gonna freeze
over.
No
heat. The planet won't exist. There'll be a big sun flare. It'll be a big solar flare that takes out all 9 planets.
They built that weapon in the middle of the planet, and now what?
That's retarded. What, really? They made that? What was this? What Star Wars?
Yeah.
You could Google it up, Chris.
Yeah.
The Force Awakens.
Let me show you what it looks like.
Force Awakens?
I'm gonna Google it. The Force.
They really did that? That's fucking
Star Killer Base. You could put Star Killer Base.
Awakens.
But did you research that? Does it move? Does Star Killer Base have the ability to move?
Here's the logic. They I don't know if it's in a book or something. Maybe I missed it because they never explained it in the story. But I think it wasn't a planet. It was kind of it was able to move or something. I don't understand the logic of it. I really
And Moose
But it
inside
looked
the planet itself. That's retarded.
Was it ever destroyed?
It got destroyed. Remember in the Force Awakens? it
No,
gets
I
destroyed.
don't. I took that movie out of my memory.
Well, in the Force Awakens, the whole planet blows up. You know, because the rebels come and they're able to, and Han sets off death charges, and that's when
Here,
he gets killed.
it's a planet. It's not a space station.
I know. I don't. But they're trying to cover up for their poor writing skills.
They call it a base, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Star Killer Base. It's Disney.
It can move, according to Reddit.
They're just not having a plan. They just don't have a plan.
According to Reddit, Reddit's a very
And you know Reddit, it's proof. It's on Reddit. I'm sorry.
right. They're on. That's it. They're on point. Right.
Yeah. So okay,
Reddit knows what they're talking about.
What do you guys? Since it's very easy to rip apart just about every Star Wars movie.
Yeah, we can, but these are the worst.
I'll put something out there then. I'll put something real quick and make it quick, I guess.
Do it.
What you guys think is like one of the most intense scenes of any of the movies?
I think when Obi-Wan fought Anakin. I think that was one of the most.
Okay. Fair.
I think
Obi-Wan fought. Yeah,
I'll go.
That was dope. Anakin versus Obi-Wan. That was pretty intense.
When he goes, how could you were supposed to destroy the Sith? You were my brother. I love you, Anakin.
Yeah,
and then he goes, I hate you. It's like,
yeah, that was definitely.
I have to say, and Chris, I was with Grandpa in the theaters when I saw that movie. I took Grandpa to see it, and I was like, I didn't want to move from my seat. I did not want to move that was so.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And to know that like he has a white, and here's the worst thing of all. This is how evil and how his brain is.
He's pregnant, right? Princess Leia was pregnant at that time.
He has a vision of his wife dying. He wants to turn to save his wife, yet he kills these kids. He kills.
That was my answer. When Anakin
kills these kids.
Yeah.
That was my answer when Anakin is walking into the Jedi Temple.
That's good. Okay.
With the troopers.
Right.
That to me that was more intense.
That's a good one. No, those are all good. I didn't even think of that one. I guess there's a lot of good ones. I was gonna say in the end of Rogue One when Vader is entering the Rebel ship.
Yes.
It was something so intensely strong and powerful and scary about that moment that phenomenally done.
Yeah, but hi guys, sorry.
Hey Mario.
I wanted to know what was going on. I don't know how to do this, so I wanted to know how to do it.
I'm doing a good job.
Live. We're ending our stream, so hi Ma, how are you? I love you.
I'm good. I'm hanging in there.
That's the double of us, Mom. That's me and Rob's mother. Here you go.
Hi guys, how you doing? I can't believe everybody is there. It's so nice. Hi Maya, my baby girl. Hello, sweetheart. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Mario.
Yeah, so I mean that's about it. That's how I feel. The bottom line, we seem to agree on a lot of things. And I just want to say, listen, before I go, and I'm sure this doesn't mean nothing much to people watching, but you guys have meant the world to me, and I'm saying this live, so I can't take this back. There's no retraction unless I delete this, entirely. You guys, Tony's been like you, Chris, and George has been like you. You guys are all like brothers to me, and if my life was clinging, you guys would be any of you three. I would be the only people I trust. I have to trust friend-wise, of course, brother, my family, and of course my wife, my daughter that don't count. But you guys, I would trust most. It's like you guys have done so much for me. I have never been so grateful in my entire life for all you've done through bad times. I've gone through hard times. I never forgot the things you've done for me when I didn't have so much. When you guys were there for my birthdays, for all the great time. I just want to thank, and this stream even has meant so much to me to see, to have you guys together is rare. But since bowling or softball was the last time I think I had you guys together. So this is I just want to thank you, George, for taking
clams, baby, clams.
And
that, George, clams in the basement.
If you haven't watched Tone, if you're interested in Bitcoin, you want to know all about it. That's the man. That's the man to follow. Check out his channel. I'll make sure I link his channel.
It's in the video description.
Oh, it's in the video. Okay, great. It's in the video description. So just check out Tony.
Tony will show you how to be bald. the professional way.
Oh man.
I keep going this stream. I keep asking him, what razor do you use? I just want to know.
It's not Hair Club for Men. It's that Dollar Shave. That's what it is.
George, you're gonna say?
No, nothing. I guess I don't really have a channel, but once in a while I do post for my job. We have a channel at AT&T called it would be nice if I remembered what it was called.
Yeah, tell it. We can't follow you otherwise.
This is extremely embarrassing. So I work as a security analyst for AT&T, and I'm gonna. You know what I'm doing? I'm gonna see who I subscribe to.
I don't know my own channel.
We'll get back
Because
to
internally we call it something different, but it's called Threat Track. But
Graziano channel.
all right, listen. So internally we call it something different, but externally it's called Threat Track. And essentially what we do is it's security analysts at AT&T. They go over security events that happen that are pretty relevant. Any kind of new malware that's out there. Tony, a lot of the stuff you're involved in with Bitcoin is sometimes not just Bitcoin, but coin mining. We have a lot of issues with people dropping miners on, machines and making money.
That's the thing, man. If you can get,
do you deal with the AT&T internet or?
Wow.
What was that?
I have AT&T service. Like, is there anything you can do to help me out?
Not really.
Thanks a lot, George.
But
good to know you. Good to know you.
Yeah, so the channel gives a lot of good tips. I should have probably given you this to put the link in the description, but it's all good. Just look up Threat Track with a Q.
Threat
THEREAT track TRAQ.
Threat Track. Okay.
Yeah. I'll pop on there once in a while. I'll go over. I think I just recently went over a piece of malware that's out there now. That if you have an Android phone, they have the ability to monitor when you're using your phone and when you're not. And when you're not using your phone, they kind of manipulate your device. They can mine Bitcoin, mine Monero coin, all kinds of cool stuff, and use it as a botnet. If that doesn't sound boring.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with all that.
No, yeah, that's great. Okay.
So that's it. That's my cheap plug for my work. But other than that, yeah, man, it's amazing to see you guys. Chris, holy crap! When you text me today, man, it was like, whoa, which Chris?
No,
is
you
this?
missed me. No? Everybody misses me.
So yeah, thank you for reaching out, Rob. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You're a brother to me. You're my family. I'll always be here for you anytime you need anything, except for your brother. I'm done giving him shit. So it's all good.
George. I understand.
I'm just kidding.
Don't drop no plaster on my brother's head no time soon, all right? I'm gonna have to come looking for you, all right?
I mean, I was like 10 years old.
I'm not a little kid no more, all right? I'll come looking for you, all right?
Chris, you live stream?
What happened?
You live stream now?
My live stream? I'm on the app.
You have a PS4, right? You do live streams with somebody? You were telling me.
Oh, yeah. I do gaming live streams. I play Call of Duty and Fortnite live stream. My name's everywhere. Mind Freak.
Everywhere. Well, it hasn't popped up on my channel. What's up with that?
Mind Freak, baby.
What's it called?
Well known.
What's it called?
Mind Freak. Like Chris. Have you ever heard of Chris Angel?
Okay, Mind Freak. Cool. All right.
Mind Freak. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So,
I'll send you my PS name.
Go ahead.
So yeah, nothing but love for you, Rob, and Tony. Same thing. You're a family.
Let's end this. Let's end this off with asking the question: when the hell are we having a softball game?
Well,
come on, guys. Us old farts. Let's see if we can still hang.
Remember, it's not just even if us four said yes, you still need. I can hit the ball. Who's going to be there? You know what I mean?
No, I think we can get.
Oh, I bet we can get a lot of people.
I think you know what? I think we can get 20 people for once a year annual softball game, like in July.
Yeah, that's what I think. At this time, there was enough break going on before we, when was the last time we actually played? I think there's enough time.
I think once a year would be fun. Just spend one day a year.
Yeah, just one day a year where everybody just gets together as a memorial game type deal.
Yep. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I think we can look into that. Maybe not this summer, but next summer for sure.
Tom,
Yeah, 100%.
comments or anything you want to say before we go?
No, that's it, man. It's been fun. Good talking Star Wars. Maybe next time we'll talk Marvel or something. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. I'll have to do
Yeah.
a little Marvel binging. That's all. All right, everybody.
Oh, Tony, George, one last toast.
Oh, I don't have my drink, but
I know Tony does.
I gotta pour a shot in here.
To say goodbye to everybody. Peace out,
Yeah,
live.
thanks to everybody who stopped in the chat today. Isaac and Space Jason and everybody else.
I toast to a good stream. Tony, good stream. George,
yep.
Rob,
Good stream.
love you guys.
Take care, man.
Later, guys.
Cheers.
Later, everyone. Say
Bye,
goodbye.
Maya.
Bye, Maya.
Bye.
Baby girl.
Peace out.
Say bye, Mom.
Bye,
Bye,
Daddy.
Nana.
Bye, everybody. It was so nice seeing all of you. Miss you. If you had a ball game, I'd come with Chris to make sure I watch and be a as long as I.
You can end the stream and keep them.
Bye.